Well, the expectation is great. It's Africa's rising. Africa rising is a daunting task, but not as I think it's only daunting because we haven't done it before, and this is the first time that I suspect that there's going to be this massive effort to rally the African thinking into construction of a new narrative of not just an Africa rising, but an Africa that would have arisen and would use its own resources for its own development and not depend on aid, handouts, and gifts from developed countries. And there are quite a number of issues that for us are relevant as a continent. This is a continent that is massively endowed with resources and raw materials. And yet we say it's potentially the richest continent, but these people are poor. And for various reasons. We export our raw materials and import the finished goods out of those raw materials. That cannot be the story of Africa. We also produce some of the brightest and the best in the world intellectually, but yet we are not where we have to be. That cannot be the story of Africa. So the Kwewu Summit is an effort to coalesce all that Africa has into a constructive roadmap, an actionable roadmap that would activate the AFCFTA and all the things that we've been talking about. I mean, at the end of the day, Africa has a diaspora that is powerful enough to also aid the continent in its transformation. Every year, the diaspora sends home approximately $48 to $50 billion in remittances. So it's a powerful tool. Africa, like I did say before, has almost all the resources that are required to get the world running, and yet we haven't been able to extract real value out of it. So under the maximum of a Ghana Beyond Aid, which now has resonated across Africa to be an Africa Beyond Aid, we're going to use these resources by transforming them into products that we can trade amongst ourselves. And that is a much better story to tell of the continent than what it is today. And indeed, I mean, for a continent with a population of 1.3 billion, which we expect to move up to about 2.6 billion by 2050 and be 1/4 of the world's population, we must have a future that is brighter than we see. I believe that the current leadership on the continent has transformed from what it was maybe a couple of decades back. We are seeing out of the 10 fastest growing countries in the world, maybe over the past decade, 6 of them have been from Africa. That is a good story to tell, but we need to transform that so that it percolates right through the continent, and as one and the largest single tariff-free market in the world, leverage on that to bring about wealth creation for our young people. And as I said in my speech, about 60% of our population is below the age of 35. So it's full of young people who must have the opportunity and have a great future ahead of them. So these conversations that will be had at the Kwewu Summit will bring together all the ideas and involve significantly the private sector, not just governments, but the private sector as a unit of transformation, and how the private sector can be used to transform the continent into wealth.